In this exercise, we will start with this video and we will end up with this result. We will use track motion and attach this text to this boat and this text to this boat. I'll go to After Effects, right click, import file. I go to exercise 18. I select all the files and click on import. Now I'm gonna select this video and drag and drop here to the composition like this. I create a composition based on this video, and first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a tracker and attach it to this boat right here. I'll go to tracker, the video, make sure it's selected and click on track motion. I move the track point right here. I'm gonna track this man right here. This is a high contrast area. I'm gonna make the feature area bigger like this to cover this man, and the search area I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger like this. Make sure the playhead is in the beginning of the timeline, and from here I'm gonna start analyzing. I put the cursor right here, analyze forward, and I click. We see the track point is following the boat. And obviously we have a problem here. I'm gonna stop analyzing. I click here. I click. The tracking went well, but when the boat went behind this object, the track point got confused, and now we have a problem that needs to be fixed. The video is selected. I'm gonna press U to bring all the keyframes. Now I see all the keyframes here, the keyframes created. Up to this point, the tracking went well, and from this point on, I'm gonna select all the keyframes and delete them. Delete like this. I'm gonna go to this point in time. I move the playhead right here. Now we can see the man clearly. At this point, I'm gonna manually move the track point. I'll move the track point like this. I put it back on the man like this. And from here, I'm gonna continue analyzing. I go here, analyze forward, and continue analyzing, and the tracking is going well, as you see. And now it's done. I'm gonna go back a little bit and move the playhead, make sure the tracking is going well. From this point, we don't have any keyframes because we deleted the keyframes here. Right when the boat goes behind this object, we deleted all the keyframes. So After Effects automatically connected these keyframes to these keyframes. And now the result is perfect. We don't have any problems, as you see. I can zoom in so you can see clearly. Even without keyframes in this area, the tracking is going well. And we continue from this point with no problems. I'm gonna toggle this up. I'm gonna create a null object like this. I go to Edit Target. Make sure null 1 is selected. This is very important. And now we can click on apply. Okay, and now we have a null object attached to this point and following the boat just like this. Now I'm gonna bring boat 1. I'm gonna place this image right here. I'm gonna click on anchor point tool and I'm gonna move the anchor point right here. This is very important. I'm gonna go back to selection tool. Mode, I'm gonna change this to overlay. And I'm gonna right click. I go to layer, styles, and I'm gonna add a drop shadow. Now we have our text here. I'm gonna parent this image to the null object now. I go to parent and link. I go to the pick whip, click and drag, take it to null 1 and let go. And just like that, I parented the text to this boat. Now, if we play the video, this is exactly the result we wanted. I think this looks good. I'm gonna move this image a little bit to the right, just a little bit like this, and I'm gonna play one more time. I'm gonna move the image a little bit here. I think it got too close to this area. I'm gonna go back now. This is gonna be our starting point and it's gonna end up like this. I think this looks good. One more thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make this text and this line scale up. I go to here, I put the playhead here. I'm gonna press S, bring the scale. I'm gonna click on the stopwatch. I'm gonna go back here 1 second and scale it down to 0%. And now when we play, we get this result. And it's very important that you place the anchor point exactly right here. You want it to scale up from here. Now we are done with the first boat. I'm gonna put the playhead here. I go to the end of the timeline. Now I'm gonna add a tracker to this boat, but before this, I'm gonna bring the text, boat 2. I'll place it right here. I'm gonna click on anchor point tool and I'm gonna place the anchor point right here. I go back to selection tool. I'm gonna set the blending mode to overlay, right click, layer styles, and I'm gonna add a drop shadow like this. Now I'm gonna select video and I'm gonna add another track motion. I click. I'm gonna take this new track point here. I'm gonna track this black object. It's a high contrast object, exactly what we want, like this. I make the search area a little bit bigger and the feature area a little bit bigger. I select this high contrast area. Make sure the playhead is in the end of the timeline. It's very important. And edit target, I have boat 2 selected. I'm not gonna use a null object this time. I'm gonna directly link the tracker to the image boat 2 like this. Okay, I'm gonna analyze first. I'm gonna analyze backward from here. Click here. It's analyzing. And now it's done. I'm gonna click on apply. Of course, make sure at the target we have both two selected. It's very important. And click on apply. X and Y. Okay. And now we have boat 2 attached to the second boat, as you see, like this. This is exactly the result we wanted. I'm gonna toggle everything up, press M, like this. I go to boat 2, I'm gonna toggle this down, transform, toggle this down. I can change the anchor point a little bit. If I want to take this image a little bit higher, I'm gonna change the Y value of the anchor point like this, just a little bit like this. Make sure we don't change the position because we have keyframes created here. I'm just gonna change the value of the anchor point like this, the X and Y. And place it exactly right here. Now I think it's placed correctly. If we move the playhead, I think this is a good result. I'm gonna make it a little bit closer to the boat. It's very important that you check the video from the beginning to the end. I'm gonna change these values of the anchor point. I'm gonna make it a little bit closer to the boat, like this. You can use the arrows and change the values, or you can copy my values if you want. Now let's see. Starts from here and ends up here. I think this is a good result. I'm satisfied with this. Now I'm gonna play the entire video. The exercise now is finished. You go do the same and don't forget to save.